Okay, so very interesting, no, our topic and medyo technical, no? Because our topic is about using statistical software and reference management software. No? So, in this topic is covered under technology-driven research tools, no? So, technology-driven research tools are apps, no, platforms or software that help you gather, analyze, and present data faster and more accurately. These tools make research less stressful and more efficient, especially when working on your MBA feasibility or research, no? Business plan or case studies, no? Think of them as your digital assistants. They help you organize your thoughts, test ideas, and make smarter business decisions based on evidence. Instead of handling our paper survey or doing time-consuming interviews, you can use now tools like Google Forms, SurveyMonkey, or Microsoft Forms to collect feedback online. And these platforms allow you to send survey through email or social media, and responses come back instantly. You can also track trends using tools like Google Trends or get insights, no, in customer behavior through analytics platform. Very useful when studying marketing, consumer behavior, or product development. And another topic that we need to look into, of course, is the statistical treatment, no, that it is required, no, for your research, no. And this statistical software focus on this under this topic. Okay, to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
Good morning again, guys. Today, I am bound to present to you the brief presentation about statistical software and reference management software part one. So the part two will be discussed by Miss Diane or Mrs. Diane. So let's proceed. So what is statistics? So statistics is the science of collecting, analyzing, interpreting, and presenting data. So for collecting data, we have surveys, experiments, observation, and existing records. So for analyzing data, organizing and summarizing the collected data, and then for interpreting data, uh, we can understand the meaning of the data that is analyzed. And then lastly, we have the presenting data. So presenting, we can uh, use this as to communicate the findings to others through reports, presentation, visualization, and other means. So for using the statistical software, so the first we will uh, define, or I will define to you, is the SPSS. If you are familiar with it during your undergrad thesis. So for us, it is the tool we currently using until now, as I believe in my alma mater. So for SPSS is statistical package for the social sciences, used for data management, statistical analysis, and data visualization. So for our project, or the R tool, it is a free and open source programming language and software environment specifically designed for statistical computing and graphics. So last is the Python. So it's a general purpose programming language that has become incredibly popular in the field of data science, including statistical analysis. So for the SPSS, again, it's a powerful software program used for management statistical analysis and data visualization. So the functions of the SPSS are the bullet that I have indicated in the slide. First, it can clean your data, um, transform your variables. So for statistical analysis and for such descriptive analysis, um, and inferential statistics. So for descriptive statistics, if you're familiar with the frequencies, mean, standard deviations, and etc. So for inferential statistics, these are the t-test, ANOVA, regression, chi-square, and many more. And then SPSS can also visualize your data and interpret the output. So SPSS is applicable or can be used to social sciences, businesses, healthcare, and education. So next is the R project tool or the R tool. So it's also a powerful tool for data analysis, visualization, and machine learning. So it's much more technical or it needs skill compared to the SPSS. And for the functions of the R project tool, the R is have our console. Um, it's like the same function in the Excel, the macro. If you are familiar with the Excel in the R script, it's where you can put the programming code that you need, the manual programming code that you are going to use, and then data manipulation, statistical analysis again, and data visualization. So applicable also in statistical computing, data science, research, and business or businesses. Next is the Python, the last software that I will show to you. The general purpose programming language has become incredibly popular in the field of data sciences, including statistical analysis. So the functions again, um, it has it have had or has the same functions, so it can manipulate data and statistical analysis and data visualization. So it's also applicable to data science projects, large-scale data analysis, and customizable solution. So now we will discuss, or I will show to you the brief or summarized differences of the three tool. So for the type, we have the commercial software, the SPSS. So you need to uh, purchase the application compared to the R and Python. As you can see, you have to pay for it, and then you can search for the R tool or the R and the Python in the Google search, and then you can download it free, and you can try it on your own if you have the skills or knowledge about how to use it. So for the focus of these three, so for statistical for the SPSS, it's for the social science and general statistics. Though so for the R, um, statistical computing, graphics, and for the Python is it has the general purpose data science and statistics. So for interface, the only friendly tool among the three is the SPSS. The two has complexities. It takes knowledge and skills to or and practice to learn or to master it. And then for the learning curve, again the most easiest application among the three is the SPSS, while the two have the steeper learning curve. So again, it's difficult to learn, but it takes if you manage to practice it on a daily basis or oftentimes, so you can definitely master or learn it more. And then for the flexibility, the SPSS has the only software that has limitation, since the two have these customizable soft features on their applications. So as I said earlier, we it can you can put programming codes, so you can run specific computations on how to read or compute your datas like that. And then for the cost, again, SPSS expensive. It's I don't know the exact amount, but you have to purchase for it. So during our graduate school, we have some professors there or instructor that have these applications. So we hire them as our statistician during our college thesis or undergrad thesis. So for our Python and the R and the Python, it's free. You can search it for in the Google or any search engines. So for community, for um the meaning of the community here is the sample data, which is like the SPSS. You can only um, analyze or put data on a limited or smaller scale only. Comparing to the two, they can read or they can analyze, they can interpret larger scale or community data. And then for data handling, so for basic, we have the SPSS and the R and Python. Again, they are excellent in this kind of features since they can be customized again. They can be, you can put anything on the programming code. So for visualization, so the visualization, SPSS have simpler visualization capabilities, while the R and Python have excellent visualization in terms of they can in SPSS, it's much more simpler, like an aesthetics, no, but it's like you can see tabs only. You can design the table. You can only take a screenshot or like that. And then for lastly for machine learning, again, since the SPSS has limited machine capability, so it has these fixed commands in the application, while the two again have the strong machine learning capabilities since they can you can um, manipulate or you can change the coding of the program. So for the software application of type of research, so for quantitative research, so these tools can be also you can be all used since they are designed for statistical analysis. So for qualitative research, so these tools are designed for um quantitative type of research. So both R and Python can be used for some aspects of qualitative research with the help of specialized package. Like I said, you can manipulate or you can manually program the coding. And then we have a note here that for qualitative research, we have other applications there, such as the NVivo or the MaxQAD are typically more suitable for uh, qua- qualitative research. So, uh, sorry. So I have simple example here for the SPSS, R, and Python. So for SPSS, so for a scenario, you are conducting or you conducted a survey on a customer satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 10. So you want to calculate the average satisfaction score. So if you um go, going to use the SPSS, or if you are have this capacity to buy, um, you can use this application for simpler data or for your qualitative research. So here it shows the table, as I said earlier, the simpler one, the satisfaction score, the mean, and standard deviation. So for the customer survey, the mean is, for example, you put the scale of 1 to 10. and the mean is 7.5, and the standard deviation is 1.2. So for the R, so this we have the next scenario is you want to visualize the relationship between the student's study hours and exam score. So the code here I have pulled uh example coding in the internet or uh in the internet, so you can copy it or you can check it if you have the skill um to use the R and Python. So you can use this code again. So, and after entering this code, it will generate or show the relationship between study hours and exam scores as shown in here below. So last for the Python, so you want to predict prices based on square footage. Again, you can use this code. You can, if you have the skill, if you have the knowledge of using the Python and R, you can use this code. So you can import this code again, and after putting the code on the system, so it will generate a table or graph showing the predicted house prices based on a square footage like this. So I will give you time to check. So next slide. So after these three software, I will discuss about the reference management software. So it helps researchers and writers organize, store, and cite bibliographic information. So the three reference management software, so it helps researchers to organize, store, and cite scholarly sources. So for collecting, it can gather information from various sources. Organizing, it can also store and categorizing references with metadata, and citing, generating citation in different academic style. Lastly is you can create, or it creates bibliographies automatically, generating formatted bibliographies. So the first application is the Zotero software. So for the Zotero software is an open access, easy to use reference management tool that serves as your personal research assistant and helps you to collate, organize, cite, and share your research search sources. So the function, it can collect data, organize and cite, and create bibliographies, collaborate, and annotate. So it can be used by the students, researchers, and academic writing. So for the EndNote software, a commercial reference management software that provides comprehensive tool for managing and citing references. So the functions of this tool are the comprehensive collection of data, advanced organization of your data, powerful citation features, strong collaboration, advanced search and filtering, and this uh, application or software can be used also by the researchers, faculty, and librarians since it does it much more suitable. The function of the EndNote is much more suitable to this type of researchers or type of person or professionals. So next is the key differences between the Zotero and EndNote. So for the cost, the Zotero is free. The um, EndNote is subscription based, meaning you have to buy for it, like the SPSS. So, interface, Zotero is much more user friendly. an EndNote can be much more complex, like the R or the Python. And then for the community support, so Sototero can be used in the large and active community scale, while the EndNote can be also used in large and active community data, but it's much more applicable in institutions such as schools, universities, libraries, and etc. So for customization, so Zotero has a high um, customizable with add-ons. So the end note is also customizable, but it may require, technical expertise. Lastly, for the we have the collaboration. So for both collaborative features, uh, but the end note have much more or strong feature when it comes to collaborating. And lastly, the citation styles. So we have both um, wide range of citation styles, but the EndNote have much more extensive support of it. So here we have the uh,
Ihanap ko na lang ang savings mo. Sabihin mo yung ano,
we have the two uh, simple examples of the two. The Zotero for well, we have this scenario. So you are apologies, I don't have the skills or knowledge technically on how to use it, since it's my first time to encounter this tool, since we didn't use it during our undergrad thesis. So I'm just going to give you a scenario and um, this two visualizations only. So you are writing. So for the there you are writing a research paper, and you need to organize and cite sources efficiently. So for again for Sotero, if you have the time, you can practice it. So you can install the Sotero. So you can you must need to install also the Zotero connector to your browser, like the extension. So when you find an academic paper or website, so you can click the Zotero browser extension to save it. Like the if you click the Zotero connector as the extension in the Google, so from there you can save it. So open the Zotero, and then uh, where the reference you have saved is automatically put in there. And then in the Microsoft Word, use the Zotero plugin in the insert citations. So from there, you can click the add or edit bibliography to generate a reference list in your chosen citation style, like the APA, the MLA, or the Chicago, and other citation styles. So for the end note, as you can see, it's much more uh, detailed, or it has these complexities. So for EndNote, we have a scenario that you are conducting a literature review, and you need to organize PDFs and generate citations automatically. So for EndNote, again, you you can install the EndNote. After installing it, syempre, open the EndNote, create a new library, and import references to add the PDF. If you located already the PDFs, you can syempre download the PDF files. After downloading the PDF files, so you can import the references there from there, and then add it on this hotel EndNote app. And then the EndNote extracts metadata, like the bibliography, the title, the author, and year automatically. Like the shown here, the reference type, title, authors, journals here. And then from there, in my Microsoft Word, can use the EndNote site, like the plug in the Zotero connector, n- as I said earlier for the Zotero. So EndNote has also this extension or other application like the EndNote site while you write CWYW and cite while you write log in to insert citation. So from there, click the format bibliography to generate the reference list. Then Um, key takeaways. So Zotero excels in user friendliness, affordability, since it's open source and free, and a strong community support system. While the EndNote boasts advanced features, robust collaboration tools, and is widely recognized in academia due to its strong institutional support. So that's all, everyone. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learn and you get something from my presentation. So if you have questions or clarification, you may unmute or forever hold your peace.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. No, in modern business research, no, technology plays a huge role in making tasks faster, easier, and more reliable. So, statistical and references management software are two essential tools that help you as MBA student, no, and business professional conduct high quality research. And these tools don't just save time, no. Wait lang. Okay, but they also reduce errors and allow for better decision making based on accurate data and properly cited sources. Sabi nga ni Sir, no, statistical software helps you collect, organize, and analyze data. And these programs can handle large amount of numbers and perform calculations that would to be slow or too complex to do manually. Kaso katulad na sinabi ni Sir, Excel, SPSS. Ang SPSS stands for Statistical Package for the Social Sciences, R and Stata, Python, and so on. For MBA student, no, this means you can confidently analyze trends in sales, customer behavior, market performance, and employee productivity, among many other business aspects. Let's say you're doing a research project on customer satisfaction for a new service. You send out survey of 100 customers. No, instead of manually counting answers, SPSS or Excel can help you compute averages, identify the common responses, and even test if satisfaction is linked to age or income. This lets you provide solid evidence-based recommendation, just like a data-driven manager would in a real company. While a statistical tool helps you with numbers, reference management software helps you organize written sources like books, journals, and website. This is useful when you're doing a literature review or citing studies in your research paper. Example includes Sotero, sabi nga ni Sir, Mendeley, and EndNote. And these tools collect your reference in one place and automatically create citations and bibliographies in APA or MLA or Chicago style. Now, imagine you're writing a paper on digital marketing strategies and need to cite 15 articles. Doing that manually can take hours, no? And a small mistake can affect your credibility. So with Mendeley or Sotero, you just click a button and your citation are done for you. Plus, they help you stay organized, especially when you're juggling multiple research topics in different courses. So, sabi ni Sir, no, both statistical reference tools work best when used together. For example, no, you might use SPSS to analyze survey result and Mendeley to cite similar studies from academic journals. This combination help you create a research paper that is not only data-driven but also properly grounds in existing literature, something that is essential in both academic and business settings. Now, you don't need to be an IT expert to use tools. Now, must have user-friendly interfaces and tutorials are widely available online. Excel is open already, familiar to many students, and Mendeley or Sotero offer browser extensions that make saving and citing sources as easy as clicking a button. Some universities and colleges and companies also provide free access to premium software, making it easier to study, learn, and apply them. So, using this tool doesn't just help you pass your MBA coursework, it builds your professional edge, no, in today's business environment. Leaders are expected to make informed decisions based on data and credible sources. So, through mastering statistical software and reference management tools, you'll be more efficient, more accurate, and more confident in presenting your ideas. These skills will carry over into the boardroom where data and clarity drive success. Okay? Sige, next presenter.
Thank you, Doc. Proceed na po
Thank you so much,
sa
presenter.